After a while, I hear him ask me if I have anything left to say. I keep quiet and continue my act. As soon as I see his arm swing towards me, Alex takes control. She knees Patrick where the sun doesn't shine, which causes him to let go of me and fall to the ground in pain. He makes a hissing noise before he tries to reach out and grab me. Thankfully, Alex is a lot faster than he is, and she easily moves out of his way. He still has the knife in his hand, and his eyes are honestly freaking me out. He looks so insane and crazy. He glares at me for a second before he just starts swinging the dagger around. Alex dodges his attacks before she decides to stop playing around. It's actually pretty cool being able to watch what she's doing, and it's crazy to think that I've had all this power since the day I was born. She holds my hand out towards Patrick before making a fist. Patrick's body stops and his eyes widen before he starts gasping for air. I frown slightly and I wonder what Alex is doing to him. She squeezes my fist tighter and Patrick gasps and his body starts floating off the ground. He seems to have no control over his body as he watches me with wide eyes. His hands are at his sides and he's standing up straight, but I can see him struggling against whatever Alex is doing. Alex, what are you doing to him? I question as I watch Patrick grimace. His face shows nothing but pain and I feel kind of bad. Don't feel bad for him. He deserves this. What are you doing, though? She doesn't answer me for a while and I start to worry. Is she going to kill him? I'm controlling him by using the water in his body. She finally answers like it's no big deal. I gasp quietly and watch as Alex makes him lose his grip on the dagger. The dagger falls to the ground, which makes some of Ryder's men snap out of their daze and start walking towards Patrick. I look through my eyes and see the shocked and scared looks on everyone's face. Some more of Ryder's men move forward and surround Patrick. Alex drops him onto the ground before giving me control again. Ryder's men grab Patrick and I turn around. I quickly run over to Ryder and jump into his arms. I let out a relieved sigh when he wraps his strong arms around me. I snuggle into his chest and he squeezes me lightly before gently pushing me back. I think we have a lot to talk about once we get home, he states while pushing some of my hair out of my face. Home. My heart aches and I feel like crying again. These past few weeks have been torturous for me and I can't wait to go home. I'm so glad that things have finally settled down and it's all over. I'll explain everything when we get home, I confirm with a nod. Before Ryder can say anything, a frantic voice catches our attention. Elizabeth, look out! I hear Carter yell from somewhere behind me. I turn around with a frown on my face. I see Patrick running towards me while some of Ryder's men are right on his heels. He only makes it a few steps before they tackle him to the ground. I don't see what the problem is until it's basically right in front of me. Somehow, during all that, Patrick threw the dagger, and now it's heading straight for me. Zach's POV. Looking at Patrick holding a knife to Elizabeth's chest makes me sick. This is all my fault. I knew that Patrick was crazy when I first agreed to work with him, but I didn't know how crazy he really was until he was done with his story. I started to see just how messed up he was and how wrong I was to help him at all. He's a sick and disgusting man, and it's all my fault that Elizabeth is about to die. For some reason, I have immense feelings of remorse coursing through my veins. I'm not sure why I feel like this, seeing as I've never felt bad about what I've done before. I don't like this feeling. While Patrick is telling his story, I find myself inching closer and closer to him. No one is focused on me, and I want to keep it that way. I take small steps to the side every few minutes while making sure the coast is clear. I don't make it very far, though, because I freeze when I realize Patrick has stopped talking and he was swinging his arm down at Elizabeth's chest. I let out a sigh of relief when she manages to bring her knee up and hit Patrick in a very sensitive part of his body. I watch as she expertly dodges him, and I wonder if she was always able to fight like this. I do notice that her eyes are a different color, though. After a moment, Patrick stops moving, and Elizabeth is staring at him with a blank face. I watch in awe and fear as Patrick starts floating. I frown slightly as I see the pain and fear on Patrick's face. What's Elizabeth doing to him? She drops him a few moments later, and some of Ryder's pack warriors grab him. When the guys grabbed Patrick, I let out a sigh of relief. I'm glad that we don't have to worry about him anymore. I can't believe I was working with him. What was I thinking? I start to move towards Elizabeth to see if she's okay. I also want to apologize on my behalf. I watch as Elizabeth runs up to Ryder, and he wraps her up in a loving embrace. I continue on my way over to them, and I can't help but think of the what-ifs. What if I had been a good mate to Elizabeth? What if I had never bullied her? What if my mom didn't die? Would I have turned out differently if I had both of my parents while I was growing up? I don't have that many memories about my mom, but I do know that she was very loving and caring. I shake my head and decide to stop thinking about the past. There's nothing I can do to change it now. Besides, I don't think Elizabeth would have been as happy with me anyways. From the few times that I've seen her and Ryder interact, I've seen how good they are for each other and how happy they are. I can't help but feel jealous at the bond they share. I'll never be able to experience that with someone. Maybe that's why I did all this. I was jealous of what they had, even though I had my chance with Elizabeth, so I shouldn't have been jealous. I'm almost at her side when I hear some commotion behind me. I turn and see Patrick struggling in the guy's arms before he is able to free one of his hands. He punches one of the guys in the face before elbowing the other one in the ribs. He grabs the knife from the guy who grabbed it from him. He swings the dagger around, warning everyone who is close to him to back off. When they move back, he immediately starts running in this direction. The next few seconds fly by in slow motion. I watch as Patrick throws the knife before getting tackled, and I hear Carter try to warn Elizabeth. That's going to be no use, though. The knife is too close to Elizabeth. She'll never be able to dodge it. I see the confused look on both Ryder's and Elizabeth's faces as they turn. They were so wrapped up in their own world that they didn't even realize what was happening. My heart aches at the sight. I can see how happy the two of them are together. I can't take that away from them, and I don't want anyone else to take it away from them. Elizabeth deserves to be happy, especially after everything that I've put her through. It's in that moment when I realize that I've been stupid and selfish my entire life. It's time to make things right. I'm close enough to her where I can save her life. My life for hers. At the last moment, I jump in front of Elizabeth and I feel a burning sensation as the dagger pierces my chest. I fall to the ground with a thud. I blink a few times as I feel waves of pain hit me. I look up and see that someone already grabbed Patrick and snapped his neck. There's a lot of yelling and screaming going on around me, but I can't focus on what anyone is saying. I suddenly feel someone shaking my arm and mumbling something to me. I blink a few times, trying to see who's talking to me. I see a frazzled-looking Elizabeth at my side. She looks so shocked with her wide eyes and open mouth. I guess I should tell her what's been going through my mind these last few minutes. I'm sorry, I choke out. Elizabeth's bottom lip trembles and she furrows her eyebrows. You're sorry for what? You just saved my life. You shouldn't have done that. If anyone should be sorry, it should be me, she says as tears start leaking out of her eyes. I shake my head and give her the best smile I can. No, I'm the one that should be sorry. I've been a horrible person to you, and I'm sorry, I confess through my labored breathing. She looks shocked by my confession. That's all right, I forgive you. You didn't have to do what you did, though. Now you're going to die, she sobs. I look at her strangely. Why does it matter that I'm going to die? It's not like I was doing anything useful with my life. I was a horrible person to everyone, and I deserve this. I can't believe that she would cry over me, but that just makes me feel even more guilty for everything I've done to her, especially the stuff from these past few weeks. She's always been a kind-hearted person, putting others before herself. I never deserved her. She's way too good for me. I'm glad that she was given another chance, and that she wasn't just stuck with me as a mate. Don't cry over me, I'm not worth it. I've been terrible to you, and this was the least I could do. I do have a few requests, though, I manage to say before I cough up some blood. Elizabeth grimaces, but doesn't back away. What are they? Promise me that you will live your life with Ryder to the fullest. Be happy. It's crazy how much your perspective on things can change in just one moment. A few hours ago, I was more than ready to kill Ryder and then force Elizabeth to mate with me. Now, I have no desire to do either one of those things. I feel like I've finally seen the light, and the haze that's been in my mind my entire life has been lifted. I also feel like a little girl, but that's all right. I will. Don't worry, she assures me with a wobbly smile. It's getting harder to see her face and to understand what she's saying. I have one more thing I want you to do. What is it? She questions while wiping her tears. Just promise you'll remember me as a hero, not the jerk that rejected you and made your life miserable. She nods her head vigorously, and I wince as I feel another wave of pain. I don't have much longer. My vision starts to blur even more, and now all I can see are bright lights. My breath starts becoming more shallow, and I know that my time is up. There are a lot of things I regret doing in my life. But this is not one of those things. I'm actually proud of what I did today. I feel surprisingly happy, even though I know I'm about to die. I feel at peace. A small smile forms on my face, and I take one more breath before I'm consumed with darkness. Elizabeth's POV. It's been about 2 weeks since Zach and Patrick passed away. Since then, things have been pretty quiet and uneventful. I'm really thankful for that, though, since I don't think I could handle anything else. Ryder let Carter join the pack, which made me really happy. Carter has been able to fit into the pack really well, and a lot of people see him as a hero because he helped me. Of course, he's humble about it, but I honestly can't thank him enough for what he's done. Carter told me his story and how he met Patrick on our way back home. It wasn't a long story, but the memories have obviously left a huge impact on him. I don't blame him, though, since I'm sure I would have gone insane if I was in his position. Apparently, they met while Carter was a teenager. Carter had just met his mate, and the two of them were happy together. This is where Patrick comes along and ruins everything. At this time, Patrick was looking for more people to join his pack so he could be more powerful. Patrick saw something in Carter that he liked, so he tried to get Carter on board with him. Carter refused, even though he didn't know who Patrick was at the time or what he had done. Patrick obviously didn't like Carter's refusal, so Patrick threatened to kill Carter's mate. Carter wasn't going to let that happen, so he decided to join Patrick, so his mate could stay alive. He also had another vision about me getting kidnapped, like the one he had when he was younger, so that was another reason as to why he left his past behind. He hasn't seen his mate for almost 0 years, and he's starting to lose hope that she's still alive. Ryder promised to help him find his mate, but he doesn't seem as happy as he should be about that. I haven't seen that much of Carter recently. Actually, I haven't seen that much of anyone recently. The day after we got back to the pack, Ryder locked us up in our house and we finally mated. We've been locked up in here away from everyone since Ryder didn't want me to be around anyone but him. I turn around in his arms and snuggle into his warm, bare chest. I let out a happy sigh as I feel him run his fingers through my hair. "Good morning," he mumbles into my hair. I smile and bring my hand up to touch his cheek. "Good morning." "I don't want to share you with anyone else right now," he murmurs. I roll my eyes and start pulling away from him. "You've had me all to yourself these past few weeks. I want to go see other people." He pouts and tugs me towards him. "Why can't we just stay here forever?" "Because you have a pack to run. You've been neglecting your duties for quite some time now. It's time for you to take back control of the pack. I'm pretty sure Chris and Brian want to spend some time with their mates instead of doing your job," I say with a stern look on my face. Ryder grumbles something under his breath before he nods his head and lets me go. "All right, fine. I guess we can venture outside for a little while," he grumbles with a dramatic sigh. I laugh at his face before I quickly run to the bathroom to take a shower. Once we've both done our morning routine, we exit the house and start walking. "Where are we going?" I ask as I look around. "I'm taking you out to breakfast at this diner I really like. Emily and Brian are going to be there." A huge smile forms on my face at his answer. I can't wait to see Emily. It's been so long. I practically skip towards the diner while Ryder walks next to me with his long strides. When we get closer to the town, people start bowing at us with smiles on their faces. I smile back and wave, and Ryder just nods in acknowledgement. We get to the diner a few minutes later, and I hurriedly fling the door open before scanning the diner for Brian and Emily. I don't have to look for too long because they appear in front of me a few moments later. I see that you two have finally decided to grace us with your presence, Emily says with a huge smirk on her face. She starts to wiggle her eyebrows at me, and a pink blush spreads across my cheeks. Ryder and Brian chuckle softly, while Ryder pulls me closer to him. We walk to a private section of the diner, and food is already piled up on the table. Congratulations, Alpha, Brian says with a respectful nod as we get closer to the table. He's obviously referring to the fact that Ryder and I mated, which causes me to blush again. Yeah, congrats, you guys. I was getting gray hairs over here waiting for you two to mate, Emily exclaims before she launches herself at two of us. Ryder growls slightly before moving me behind him. Stay away from my mate, he growls while glaring at Emily. Emily immediately stops heading towards us. She instead starts moving to the other side of the room. She lets out a whimper, and I see tears form in her eyes before she puts her head down. I gasp before nudging Ryder's side with my elbow. He turns to me, and his eyes are almost completely black. I let out a sigh before I wrap my arms around his waist. It's all right. Emily wasn't trying to hurt me, Ryder. Emily is our friend. You don't need to worry about her, I say through the mate mind link. I rub his back slowly, and I can see him relaxing. He pulls me closer to him before glancing at Emily. Brian is now at her side and is whispering something into her ear. Ryder clears his throat before he gives Emily an apologetic look. I'm sorry, Emily. I didn't mean to growl at you. My wolf and I are still on edge about letting people get near Elizabeth. Emily wipes her cheeks with the back of her hand before she looks up and gives him a wobbly smile. It's okay, Alpha. I shouldn't have done what I did anyways. I was just excited to see you guys, she replies, her voice shaking. I feel my heart squeeze painfully in my chest. I gently remove myself from Ryder, which causes him to growl slightly, and walk over to Emily. I hold out my arms, and she gives me a small smile before wrapping her arms around me. I've missed you, Emily, I murmur into her hair. She sniffles slightly. I missed you too, Luna. I am happy that you are back home and you are well, she states. I pull back slightly so I can see her face, and then I rest my hands on her shoulders. Emily, what have I told you about calling me Luna? We're friends. Just call me Elizabeth. You don't have to be so formal with me. She nods her head but avoids all eye contact with me. I sigh and let my arms drop down to my sides. A few moments later, we all sit down and start to eat. There's an awkward silence that's surrounding us, and it's suffocating me. So how are things going with everyone else? I ask while turning to look at Emily. She swallows the food she was eating before answering me. Everyone's pretty good. All of us have just been trying to move on from everything that's happened. I nod my head in understanding. Do you know about how Jake or Carter is? Yeah, Jake has been spending a lot of time with his mate, but when he's not with her, he's training some of the younger pups. Carter has been helping Jake with the training, but other than that, he's kind of reclusive unless someone talks to him. The pack really respects him, though. What about my parents? I frown slightly when I realize that I haven't seen or spoken to my parents since before I got kidnapped. I feel like such a bad daughter. Your parents are fine. They understood your need to be alone with your mate for a little bit, Emily says with a knowing smile. I nod my head and continue eating. Ryder and Brian have been silent this whole time, and I think they're talking to the mind link. It must be pretty serious, though, since both of them have blank faces on. Emily stands up a few minutes later and starts tugging on my arm. I give her a questioning look, but she just continues to pull my arm until I stand up. What's going on? I question as she pulls me towards the door. I glance over my shoulder at Ryder, and I see him staring at the two of us. When our eyes meet, he nods his head, which makes me even more confused. You and I are going shopping. I groan slightly and try to pull away from her. I've only been shopping with her once, but that was definitely enough for me. This girl can shop. I already know we're going to be at the stores for hours, and she's going to make me try on all these different outfits. Do we have to? A small pout forms on her lips as she still drags me away from the diner. Of course we have to. This is the perfect way for us to spend time with each other. Trust me, It's going to be a lot of fun. As I predicted, we've been shopping all day. It's around 6 in the afternoon and I'm already drained. My fingers and arms hurt from all the bags I've been carrying today, and I'm really hungry. Emily took me to every single store in this mall, yet she still looks energetic. I'm not sure where she gets all this energy from, but I wish I could be like her. Come on, slow poke. I have another surprise for you. Emily songs as she hands the bags she was holding to one of the guards Ryder assigned to us. I have to stop myself from rolling my eyes. I hand my bags to one of the other guards and give him a thankful smile. I can finally feel my fingers again. Oh, really? That sounds like a lot of fun, I say with fake enthusiasm. Emily laughs and pulls me away from the mall. Do I get to know where we're going? Nope, it wouldn't be a surprise if I told you. I sigh, but let her drag me to God knows where. When we get to the edge of the forest, she stops and gives me a serious look. I've got to cover your eyes. I don't want you to see the surprise I have for you. I roll my eyes, but allow her to cover my eyes with a blindfold. Once she is satisfied that I can't see anything, she puts a hand on my shoulder and starts leading me around. I try to use my enhanced senses to figure out what's going on, but I can't hear or smell anything but that forest around us. We keep walking, and I hear Emily open a door. I take in a deep breath, and I smell a lot of different scents that I recognize as people in this pack, so I guess we're at the pack house. I hear another door open, and I'm pushed through it. Everything is still quiet, but the scents are getting stronger. Surprise! Welcome back, Luna. I jump slightly when I hear the yell, and I feel Emily take the blindfold away from my eyes. I quickly open my eyes, and a huge grin forms on my lips when I see the pack. They're all standing there with smiles on their faces. I look at Emily and see she has a soft smile on her lips. Alpha Ryder asked me to keep you entertained today, so he could get this party together. Everyone is so happy you're back. Let's start this party, she exclaims before pulling me forward. A few seconds later, I'm surrounded by some of the kids. Luna, you're back, Abigail yells before wrapping her arm around my waist. I laugh and reach down a little so I can give her a hug. That's right, I am back. I run my hands through her soft, wavy locks and give her a smile. Luna, come play with us. You have to be on my team, she yells before pulling me to the side, with all the kids following us. What game are we playing? I ask as the kids start getting into teams. I see some kids bringing over some buckets, and I frown in confusion. We're going to play Fill the Bucket. My frown deepens. Fill the bucket? I've never heard of that game before. Can you explain the game to me? I forgot how to play. Abigail lets out a huff as she crosses her arms over her chest. My eyes widen, and I have to bite my bottom lip to stop myself from laughing at her. We're going to have 10 teams with 5 people. 2 teams are going to compete at a time. The goal is to take the water from this bucket and run across the field to the bucket over there and put the water there. We're going to be using these plastic cups right here to carry the water. The team that has the most water in the bucket across the field wins. I nod my head and clasp my hands together. Let's play. Mom, Dad, I squeal while pulling both of them into a hug. Congratulations on your mating, my mom says after we all pull away from the hug. A small blush comes across my cheeks and I mumble a thank you. I'm sorry I haven't seen you guys in forever. I was due. I'm cut off by my dad. We completely understand. We can spend a lot of time together later. Right now, though, it seems someone else wants to talk to you. Just come find us when you're free. My parents smile as they leave to go talk to other people. Jake comes up and wraps his arms around me. I'm so happy you're okay. I was so worried about you when you were gone. I know you've been home for a while now, but I still can remember how scared I was that we wouldn't be able to save you. I squeeze him slightly, and he squeezes me back. I'm fine, Jake. Everything's fine now. He nods his head and kisses my forehead. I got to get back to my mate before she starts worrying, he says before pulling away from me. I nod my head and pull away from him. Tell her I said hi, I say as I see Carter walking up to me. Jake nods before walking away from me. So how are things going? Have you made some friends? I ask Carter once he's in front of me. He shrugs slightly, which makes me frown. Yeah, I've talked to a few people and everyone is really friendly. This pack is really close. It's like a big family, I state with a fond smile on my face. You're right. Thank you for letting me join your pack. It was the least I could do after everything you helped me with. I wasn't going to just let you go rogue or anything. Well, thank you for your consideration. I don't want to take any more of your time, though, since it looks like Alpha Rider is getting a little restless, Carter says with a small smirk. I glance over my shoulder and see that he's right. I turn back to Carter and give him a quick hug. Don't worry, we'll find your mate. He stiffens slightly but doesn't say anything. I walk away from him and head towards Ryder. As soon as he sees me, his eyes light up and a smile forms on his lips. He pulls me into a hug as soon as I'm close enough. I wrap my arms around Ryder's waist and snuggle into his warm chest. I can't help but smile as I take in the scene around me. Everyone is laughing and having a good time. Some of the adults are playing games with the kids, which is quite funny to watch. Everything is just so perfect at this moment. I wish it would be like this forever. I'm so thankful for the way things have turned out for me. I wouldn't change anything even if I could. I'm so thankful for my second chance. Chapter 40. Elizabeth's POV. Zachary David Ross, what do you think you're doing? I place my hands on my hips and arch an eyebrow at my 5-year-old son. Yes, it's been 5 years since everything has happened. I couldn't be more happy with my life. I have an amazing family and amazing friends. I couldn't ask for a better life. Mommy, I wasn't doing anything, my son says as he gives me his most innocent look. I try to keep a straight face, but a small smile settles on my lips. My son has chocolate all over his hands, his face, and his hair, which makes him look even more adorable than he usually does. Really? Because it looks like you were eating the chocolate that I told you not to eat. His eyes widen and he immediately starts shaking his head. No, Mommy, I would never do that. You know I always listen to you, he answers, keeping up his innocent act. I roll my eyes and shake my head. Go upstairs and have your dad help you have a shower, I say, while pinching the bridge of my nose. Zach nods and runs upstairs to find his dad. Yes, I named my son after Zach. I felt like it was the right thing to do. I know that his actions before weren't right, but if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here right now. He didn't have to do what he did. I'll always be thankful for that. When I first found out I was pregnant, I was really scared. I was worried that I would be a horrible mother and that my child would end up hating me. I didn't tell Ryder about my pregnancy until I was almost 4 months pregnant. That's pretty late, since werewolves' pregnancies are faster than human pregnancies. Werewolf pregnancies are about 5 to 6 months. I'm not sure how he didn't realize it earlier. He should have smelled the change in my scent, and he should have realized my weight gain. When I finally told him about the pregnancy, he passed out. Then when he finally woke up and I told him again, he started crying. I'm pretty sure I should have been the one crying because I was the pregnant one, but whatever. I made fun of him for a while because it was hard to imagine the most powerful alpha in the world crying. I still bring it up every now and then, just so to tease him. I still remember that day clearly. Flashback. I pace the living room while rubbing my swollen stomach. Today is the day. I'm finally going to tell Ryder about my pregnancy. I shouldn't have hid it this long because now the guilt is killing me. I'm not sure what the best way to tell him is, so I'm just going to make him his favorite meal, and then I'm going to tell him. I wonder if he'll be happy about this. Maybe he'll be mad, though, since I kept it from him for so long. It's not all my fault, though, since Ryder should have been able to smell the difference in my scent. He also should be able to hear our baby's heartbeat. Practically everyone else in the pack knows, but Ryder seems to be completely oblivious to it. Maybe this is his way of saying that he doesn't want children. Maybe he's trying to hint that I should be getting rid of it. Maybe he is Relax. I have no idea what you're worrying about. Ryder will be totally chill with this, Alex says. Yeah, Lizzie, there's nothing for you to be afraid of. I'm sure Ryder will be over the moon that you are carrying his pup. Remember that time when he asked if you wanted kids? He said he wanted kids, so I'm sure he'll be happy. Annabelle adds, I let out a sigh and crack my knuckles. I can totally do this. This is going to be easy. Ryder will be cool with this and nothing will go wrong. Yeah, that's the spirit. Alex cheers. I roll my eyes and go to the kitchen so I can start making the meal. I sit nervously as I wait for Ryder to come home. He should be home any minute now, and I feel like I'm going to throw up. I've never been this nervous or scared before in my entire life. I hear the door open and close, and I take in a deep breath before letting it out slowly. I walk to the front door and see Ryder taking off his jacket. I move over to him and help him take off his jacket before hanging it up on the coat rack. "How was your day?" I ask as he pulls me in for a hug. I tense slightly, worried that he'll feel my baby bump, but he doesn't show any indications that he knows. I hug him back and give him a kiss on the cheek as he mumbles about how boring his day was without me. "Well, I made you some food since I figured you'd be hungry," I state before leading him into the kitchen. I head over to the microwave and take out the 2 plates that have our food. I place them on the table before grabbing some utensils. We sit down and start eating. "Is something wrong? You seem really tense," Ryder says while examining my face. I give him the best smile I can, but he can clearly see right through it. "Everything is great. Everything is awesome, actually," I exclaim while looking away from him. He raises an eyebrow at me, but he goes back to his food. I let out a sigh of relief and go back to pushing the food on my plate around. "What are you doing?" "This isn't the plan," Alex hisses at me. I'm nervous. I don't know how to tell him, I mumble to her while sneaking a few glances in Ryder's direction. I'm not as subtle as I think, though, since the next time I glance at him, he's trying to contain a smirk. "Just tell him." Both Kadon and Ryder are staring to get worried. They think something bad has happened, Annabelle says. "Fine, I'll tell him," I state before cutting my connection with Alex and Belle. I start eating my food slowly as I try to think of how I should put this. Should I ease him into this, or should I just tell him straight out? Should I take my time, or should I just tell him immediately? Knowing Ryder, he would probably want me to tell him right then what's happening instead of beating around the bush. Once Ryder's done eating, I take a deep breath and count to 10 to calm my nerves. "Ryder, there's something really important that I need to tell you," I say while rubbing my hands over my stomach. Ryder nods his head, and I can tell he's relieved that I'm finally going to tell him what's going on. "Okay, let's go over to the living room," he says while standing up and then helping me out of my chair. We walk to the living room and I tighten my grip on his hand. He glances at me and I give him a forced smile. "Okay, go ahead. I'm all ears," Ryder says as we stand in the middle of the living room. I shake my head and point to the couch. "You might want to sit down for this," I warn. Ryder shakes his head and rolls his eyes. "I don't need to sit down. I'll be fine. Go ahead and tell me." "All right. You can't say I didn't warn you. I'm pregnant." I watch as Ryder's eyes widen and his jaw drops. His face turns pale and his hand starts to feel all clammy. He stares at me for a few seconds without saying anything. The next thing I know, he falls onto the ground, pulling me with him. I fall to the ground on top of him, and I panic slightly when I see his eyes are closed and his heartbeat is slower than usual. Did he just die? My eyes widen and I start slapping his cheeks, trying to get him to wake up. After a few failed attempts, I pull away from him and head to the kitchen. I fill up a bowl with ice-cold water before heading back to the living room. I pour the water on Ryder, and I'm thankful that we have wood floors instead of carpet in here. Ryder sits up while wiping the water from his face and coughing violently. I crouch down next to him and start patting his back. "Are you all right?" I ask after he stops coughing. He still looks extremely pale, and I'm starting to worry. He looks over at me with a blank look on his face. "What did you say?" "I asked if you were okay." "No, before that." I rake my brain, trying to think of the last thing I said to him. I'm pregnant? Are you sure?" "I'm positive." I try to read his facial expression, but he's hiding his emotions from me. "How sure are you?" "I'm 100% sure. I mean, I'm almost 4 months pregnant." "You're carrying my pup right now." I nod my head slowly and move a little to the side so there's some space between us. He's really starting to creep me out. "Yes, I am." "You're going to be having my pup." "Yes, Ryder," I say in a flat tone. All these questions are getting on my nerves. "You are 4 months pregnant with my pup. We're having a pup together. Our pup will be here in about a month." I nod my head, and I'm about to make a sarcastic remark, but Ryder breaks down. He pulls me towards him and starts sobbing into my shoulder. This is the best thing I have heard in my entire life. I love you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. He manages to mumble through his tears. A sigh of relief escapes my mouth and a grin forms on my lips. I wrap my arms around Ryder and start rubbing his back. He pulls me closer to him before his shaky hands start pulling at the bottom of my baggy shirt. I help him lift my shirt up to expose my baby bump. More tears start to fall down his cheeks as he brings his hand forward and gently rubs my stomach. This is so crazy. We're having a baby, our own little pup. I hope it's a boy, because if it's a girl, I'm going to have to kill every male that looks at her. I won't even let her go outside because I don't want her to get hurt. I laugh quietly and rub his shoulder. Don't worry, it's a baby boy. How did I not know that you've been pregnant all this time? Now that I know, it's so obvious. I can clearly hear our pup's strong heartbeat, and your scent is different. No wonder why everyone was always giving me knowing smiles. Everyone knew but me, he says with a pout. I peck his lips before running my hand along his face. I wanted to tell you when I first found out, but I was nervous. I didn't know what to say, and I didn't know how you would react. There was no reason to be nervous. I've always wanted pups, Ryder confesses while running his hand through my hair. I let out a breath I didn't know I was holding. End flashback. I smile fondly at the memory. After that day, Ryder barely left my side. If he had to leave, he would leave me with at least 10 guards, and he would only be gone for about 30 minutes. There were a few times that I got really annoyed, but I knew that he was only doing that to make sure I was safe. I remember the first time I held Zach in my arms. It was like everything in the world stopped, and I was filled with so much love for my little baby boy. My heart felt like it would burst from the amount of love that filled it. Ryder cried when he first saw Zach, which made me laugh, but I was crying too. Ryder is an amazing father, and Zach looks up to him so much. There's never a time when Ryder is too busy to play with our son or teach him new things. The two of them are so cute together. Zach looks exactly like his father and acts just like him too. It's actually really funny sometimes. I hear the sounds of little footsteps running down the stairs, followed by the sounds of heavier footsteps. I realize that I've just been standing in the same spot this whole time. I move over to the stairs just in time to catch my son, who comes flying off the stairs. "Mommy, help me! Daddy is trying to tickle me!" Zach screams in my ears. I wince slightly and look up and find Ryder standing there with a smirk on his face. "Don't worry, I'll protect you from being tickled," I say, while trying not to laugh. I look at my son's face, and I'm glad that all the chocolate has been removed from him, and he's wearing clean clothes. "We got to get out of here quickly before he catches up," Zach exclaims, obviously not noticing that Ryder is a few feet away from us. I nod my head and walk away from Ryder. "Why don't you help me make some food for lunch?" Zach nods his head before cuddling into me. He wraps his small arms around me and presses a kiss to my cheek. "I love you, Mommy," he mumbles into my hair. A grin tugs on my lips and I pull him closer to me. "I love you too, Zach." "Hey, what about me?" Ryder questions with a pout. I laugh when Zach's face scrunches up. "You don't get anything because you were being mean to me," he says with a frown on his face. Ryder walks over to us and wraps his arms around my waist. "I'm sorry, Zach. I promise that I won't try to tickle you anymore. Can I get a hug now?" Zach thinks about it for a few seconds before he stretches his arms in Ryder's direction. I hand him to Ryder and watch as Zach lays his head on Ryder's chest. "Aw, they look so cute. I love you, Daddy." "I love you too, Zach. Can we go make food now? I'm hungry." Ryder and I laugh at Zach as he rubs his small stomach. "All right, you two go and play or something while I make some sandwiches," I state before I kiss both of them on the cheek and ruffle their hair before I go and get the things I need for the sandwiches. I smile as I watch Ryder run outside with our 5-year-old son. Those two are so cute together. I rub my stomach with a soft smile on my face. I wonder how Ryder will react when he finds out we're having a bay girl in a few months. Elizabeth's POV. Okay, so what did I tell you? I ask my son for the millionth time today. Zach lets out an annoyed sigh and rolls his eyes playfully. I'm supposed to go downstairs and get Daddy for you. I'm supposed to tell him you have a surprise for him. All right, you know what you're doing. Good. Of course I know what I'm doing. I'm a big boy now. I'm almost 6, Zach exclaims while puffing out his little chest. I laugh quietly and shake my head. Ah, he's so cute sometimes. I still can't believe that you found out before your dad, I say while shaking my head. The fact that Zach figured out that I'm pregnant before Ryder did worries me. Well, what can I say? I'm pretty smart. I ruffle his hair before tapping his nose. You are pretty smart, aren't you? A sly grin forms on his lips. Of course I am, Mommy. I get it from you. I laugh and shake my head. This kid is something else. Okay, sure. Now can you go get your dad for me? Zach nods his head before giving me a brief hug. Yes, Mommy. He walks to the stairs and walks down them carefully before rushing off to Ryder's office. A few seconds later, a worried look, Ryder makes his way up the stairs. He immediately comes to my side and starts inspecting me. Are you okay? Are you hurt? What's wrong? I laugh at his frantic state and wrap my arms around his waist to calm him down. He wraps his arms around me with a confused look on his face. I'm fine. I just wanted to tell you something. Nothing is wrong. He lets out a sigh of relief and squeezes me. Okay, I was really worried for a minute. What did Zach say to you? I ask while rubbing his back lightly. He closes his eyes and leans his forehead against mine. He said that I had to get to you quickly because there was an emergency. I roll my eyes and give him an apologetic smile. I'm sorry, I told him to go get you, but I didn't realize that he would make it sound like something was wrong. That kid loves being dramatic, so I shouldn't be surprised that he decided to change the script at the last second. It's okay. I'm just glad you're safe. Now what is it that you wanted to tell me? I pull back from him, and he frowns at the loss of contact. I give him a smile as I grab his hand and place it on my stomach. How would you feel about being the father of a baby girl? Ryder's jaw drops, and his eyes go back and forth between my stomach and my eyes. You're joking, he says, his eyes wide and filled with disbelief. He runs his hand over my stomach and his eyes glaze over. Why would I joke about something like this? I'm being serious. Plus, you can feel that I already have a small baby bump. You're telling me that not only are we having another baby, but that this baby is going to be a girl. Oh gosh, here we go again. He's going to keep asking the same question over and over again. Yes, Ryder, that's exactly what I'm saying. How far along are you? I'm only 3 weeks along, so our baby girl should be here in about 4 months. Yes, Ryder. His eyes light up and he pulls me closer to him while keeping one hand on my stomach. A few tears leak out of his eyes and I wipe them away. He looks so cute when he's happy like this, Annabelle purrs. I couldn't agree more. I would love to see him like this all the time, but he usually closes his emotions from everyone but me and Zach. Can I name her? He asks, his eyes filled with hope. I nod my head with a grin on my face. Of course you can, as long as I agree with the name. He grins and places a sweet kiss to my forehead. So we have a few months before she gets here, right? Yes, we have a few months to get everything ready. Good. That gives me more than enough time to finish my project, he says before walking past me. My eyebrows furrow as I watch him walk by. After a few moments, I follow him. He walks up to a door before sticking his hand in his pocket. He pulls out a key ring from his pocket and he unlocks the door. He turns to me and motions for me to come forward. I walk towards him with a curious look on my face. I don't think I've ever been to this room. I've never even noticed it before. When I get beside him, he slowly pushes the door open before gently ushering me into the room. The room is pitch black, but my eyes are starting to adjust to it. They don't get too much time to adjust, though, since Ryder flicks the light on. At first, I'm confused, but then I notice the crib, a changing station, and a rocking chair on one side of the room. The walls are painted light purple and black. The ceiling is almost completely black, with the exception of the stars and planets on it. It's like a beautiful night sky. The floor is covered by a soft carpet. Various stuffed animals are scattered around the room with a few baby bottles and some clothes. My eyes fill with tears and I turn to Ryder, who is rubbing the back of his neck with a shy smile. When did this happen? I managed to question through my shock. About a year ago. Zach and I were at the house together while you were out with Emily. Zach kept telling me about one of his friends in school who had a new baby sister. Zach had wished that he had a baby sister too. Him telling me that made me realize how much I wanted a baby girl. This room was just an empty room, so I decided to make it into a nursery in case we had more children. All of the things in here are neutral, but I was hoping that this room would be used for my first baby girl. He says while stroking my stomach softly. I smile at the sincerity in his voice. Well, I guess both yours and Zach's wish came true. You're right, and I couldn't be happier. I can't help but admire all the work he has put into this room. Do you think she'll like it? Ryder asks after a moment of silence. Like it? I think she's going to love it. I love it already, and it's not even finished. Good, because she's going to be spending her entire life here. The smile on my face drops, and I turn around to face Ryder. My eyes lock onto his, and I can see that he's being completely serious. Ryder, I'm not going to let you lock our daughter up in her room for her entire life. That's ridiculous. No, it's not. I'm just trying to protect her from the dangers of this world. I don't want my baby girl getting hurt. She's not even born yet, and she has him wrapped around her finger. That's so cute. Ryder, you need to let her experience life. How is she going to learn things if she doesn't make mistakes? I'll teach her everything she needs to know. So you're going to homeschool her? Most likely. She's going to need fresh air and sunlight. Being in a room for all that time isn't good.